Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host GBHL James, and I'm bringing you Speak, Friend and Question number 63. I believe we are on 63. Unbelievable. So hopefully you enjoyed your 3 installments of Speak, Friend and Question last week. That's a lot of talking videos for you to get through and to get loads of painting done. And as always with these types of video formats, I do recommend that you get your paints out, get those models out, and get your painting backlog done so that you can get yourselves to a great British Hobbit League tournament very, very soon. So we had less questions this week. I do apologise for Jamie and I not getting together yet again. It's not always possible. This isn't our job. If you would like to make it our job, make sure that you attend our tournaments and find a way of contributing to the GBHL YouTube channel, because we would love to do it. Even if it was for a day a week, that'd be great. But we don't live close, and Jamie doesn't drive, which does make it a little bit tougher. And of course, you know, our days off change and things like that, so he couldn't meet up with me this Thursday because he was doing some kind of training for a ride or servicing of a ride at Legoland. Sounds pretty exciting. Anyway, just so that this Speak, Friend and Question doesn't go on for an hour and 45 minutes, which is what the last one would have come to if I'd have put it together, and what my one before that did, I'm going to crack on. So we've got Acthon39. He's put, "Hi guys, hope that you've gotten together this week." Nope. It's been so long since we've had great banter. Yeah, it's look at the moment, it's been like once a month, which is not really what we want. It's not ideal. I'm sure that you would rather have videos than no videos. So you know, we will keep on trying, and it is good when we're together, or even if there's someone in the video, because then you do get that interaction, you do get the banter, and it's not the same as when you just talk to the camera. I do my best, of course, to have a bit of banter with you all, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So I want to let you know that by the time that you read this out and post it, it will be my birthday, 8th of March. Well, happy birthday, my friend. I'll be 16, so that means I'll be of sufficient knife wielding age. I hope you're not. You're not going to be wielding any knives, buddy. Happy birthday. Because you're 16, that means you can attend a Great British Hobbit League tournament without parents' permission, or certainly a GBHL tournament. So, Acthon, we will see you, of course, at the Desolation of Stockport 2015. But this comments question will be, what's the most fun, fluffy army you've ever taken, and what's the most filthy army you've ever taken? Taking the 3 Hunters, pretty fluffy. Taking the 3 Hunters and AMA, I think I took Marshall and the Riddermark, and then a bunch of Riders of Rohan against World Champion. That was pretty fluffy and good fun. So yeah, that would probably be it. Those are probably the fluffiest armies that I've taken and the most fun. Okay, next up we got Lucas Whitcroft White, but my question this week is, what is your opinion on the PDF for the Lord of the Rings sourcebook? On the PDF or on a PDF? I know someone has put together a PDF, and my thoughts are that it is Games Workshop's intellectual property. Still, even if they're not making them, it is theirs, and it would be a shame if there was a situation where someone might normally have bought a source book and then decided, well, you know what, I'm not going to do that because I can get it for free, and therefore wasn't supporting their Hobbit hobby. And that's the key thing with any, you know, copying any kind of, or pirating any kind of material, is that what you're doing is you're denying the company who owns that material the right for return on their investment for doing it. So I'm not a huge fan. I can understand if something is out of production, why people might want something. If it's for free and it's not available, then that's fine. But I actually think it would be a good idea for Games Workshop to do those kind of things. And if it's from Games Workshop and it's legit from them, then I would say okay. But while it's not, I would say that I'm a bit, yeah, especially if they're available. So I heard that the source books are coming back into availability. So so I hope that you guys will go out there and support your Hobbit hobby. If you've not got them all, when they come out, buy them all. Get them sold out. There's no better way to show Games Workshop that you support your Hobbit hobby than by buying stuff from them. Next up we've got Acthon39. Oh, it's put another question. You don't have to apologise, James, this is just a hobby. I hope you had a nice stag do. I was probably apologising that I had to rush off. The only bad thing is that you're just about to read my news. I can come to Desolation of Stockport 2015. Well, if you watched the bonus Speak, Friend and Question, I did indeed write that out. So that is really, really good news. I don't know what is shining on me here, but I appear to have... Whoa! That is bright. Whew, that's Let's adjust ourselves. That's better. Okay. If you have a chance to do another video, then you'll know by now or not. I don't have Facebook, so unfortunately I can't get the news on Desolation Stockport, but I can 100% go. I just need to buy the ticket, but not sure how to go about it. If you're watching this and you haven't watched my bonus Speak Friend in Question, go and check that out first. P.S. If you are doing another video, then on 8th of March, which video will you read the comments from? Both? But I've no idea what's going on. It will usually be the first one that's up. Do you know what I might do? Bear with me. Sorry, the sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? A bit darker maybe, but no sun in my eyes. Okay. So next up we've got Johnny Graham Beggs. He's put 1. In your opinion, which is the best looking Aragorn miniature? I have 2 favourites. My 2 favourites I can get for you now. So look up from your paint desks, because you will be thankful for what you are about to receive. My 2 favourites. Number 1 is Three Hunters Aragorn, which you've seen a million times before. There you go. I love that pose. Absolutely love it. It's Aragorn looking like a ranger, which is cool. But, and I can't wait to paint this guy up. I might actually paint him for the painting tournament for Desolation of Stockport. Paint him up, and because I think I could do a really nice job on him. Because I've already painted the Aragorn before. I know the colours, I know how to do the blends, I know that I can do a really good job on him. So I think the key thing for winning a painting competition with him, as well as doing a high quality paint like I did for the Three Hunters, is to do a really nice scenic base as well. But Breaking of the Fellowship Aragorn, he is a stunning model in my opinion. There you go. So those are my 2 favourite Aragorn poses. So there you go. Now that I'm here, it doesn't appear to be focusing properly. Let's have a look. What's that like? There we go, that's better. Okay. Let's try again. Okay, so next up, so you've got 3 questions. Which of your miniatures was the most fun for you to paint? It was fun painting the Eagles, but again, the painting Breaking the Fellowship Legolas was probably the most fun for me, because it was very satisfying. Like really satisfying to see it come together. And the most tedious to paint was all the horses for my Riders of Rohan, by far. Painting Treebeard was quite fun because it was easy, lots of dry brushing. I did enjoy doing that. But yeah, most tedious was definitely the Riders of Rohan. Okay, so... Oh, and all of my dismounts for my Rohan as well. Just not fun for me as a cavalryman. Okay, we've got Tame Morehouse. You put, now that I'm in the loop, my question is, do you think that Games Workshop will make any new scenarios for the actual Battle of Five Armies, or will the only scenario be the assault on Ravenhill? Who knows? If they bring out new material, new sourcebook material, with dwarves and maybe some more evil stuff, then maybe there will be. I would imagine if they did bring out material that there would be new scenarios. So thank you very much for your question. Next up, we've got Ross Diggle. He said, as my Romies has taken off, do I get either royalties, a tea toast or Freddos? Well, you certainly don't get Freddos or a tea toast, because this is Speak Friend in Question. We don't do absurd things like this here. This is a very serious show. And you don't get any royalties because we don't get paid. But thank you very much for the Romies, Ross. Be good to catch up soon. Next up we've got Zarfai Engel. He's put, so this tab has been open for quite some time now and I still can't think of a question to stay in the loop. Maybe I'll think of something later. Edit. You put, oh, how would you take on Mr. Smaug with Rohan? Well, it completely depends on the scenario. So 700 points of Rohan. If I was tailoring for it, tailoring with all Rohan, okay, well, it's going to be very, very tough, isn't it? Understatement of the year. Understatement of the absolute year. You have to forgive me for moving around so much. It's just that this keeps on going blurry. That's a bit better. There we go. That's better. Okay, well, I'd focus on the scenario first and foremost. So I'd look at how I could win. I would keep everything reasonably spaced out. Nothing would be within 3 inches of each other. I would make sure that my heroes were all reasonably spread out as well, but all within range of doing stuff. You'd have to stay out of range of his fire. I'd spread out loads and I'd just run away. I'd run away for the whole game. He's going to catch some of your stuff, but it's important, depending on the scenario. You know, you keep your leader. You keep your leader with less than half of your troops going one way. You've got Erkenbrand for the courage with more than half of your troops going the other way, and you just play the long game and just try and win out on the scenario. You're not going to kill him. You're not going to kill him. You know, bodyguard on the Royal Guard might be helpful, but he can't be trapped. He's going to be knocking you off your horses all over the place. So it'd be better having more infantry rather than cavalry if you were going to tailor for it. Lots of Royal Guard on foot, I think, would be the best bet. Or if you're going to do the all-mounted Rohan, then you've just got to skirmish to death. But I've not played him yet. I need to see him on the table because I might change my mind after playing him, which is always a possibility. Okay, so next up we've got James. Oh no, we've got Akathon again. He's put, because my last comment was a repeat of last week's question, here's my third question for the week. I put together an army that's possible for Desolation of Stockport 2015, which again, for anybody who doesn't know, is at the end of April in Stockport, Northwest Gaming Centre. Tickets are available. Contact us on isleofwargaming@gmail.com and we can give you all the details about how to get involved in that 600 point event. So you put, I wanted to go for a dwarf theme, but because I love both Durin's folk and Thor's army, I decided to mix them together. That's a very common thing to do. Lots of people did that when the new Erebor, Warriors of Erebor first came out, because they were able to have a Khazad front rank and a Dwarven spear wielding second rank at Defence 7. You put, so my 600 points of Durin's Fluff, as I call it, are Thorin the Young with Oaken Shield and Orcrist. Can he do that? Yes, he can. He's leading 11 Erebor warriors with shields and spears. One of them has a banner instead of a spear. Then Balin, son of Fundin. Can Erebor warriors have a banner? Just off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I can't remember if they can take banner as an option. Then Balin, son of Fundin, leading 6 Khazad Guard, 4 Iron Guard, and a Vault Warden team. And finally, Dwalin, champion of Erebor. What do I think about the list? It'll be tough to take down. It's very killy. 600 points. Good heroes. Good amount of killing power. Reasonable amount of staying power. I think it's all right. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I think it's okay. You're relatively short on numbers. You could, you are short on numbers, but you've got a banner in there. You've got some good heroes, and you're not going to be easy to kill. So yeah. You just have to play very sensibly. So next up we've got James Wilson. He's put, hello there GBHL James and GBHL Jamie. This week I would like to ask you for your opinion on my army list idea. Absolute pleasure. The army list will be titled Gothmog's Recon Squadron and will include Gothmog, Lieutenant of Minas Morgul, mounted on his dynamic Alpha Warg, taunting the ever-drifting in and out of consciousness Madril on the models based. Along him will be an Orc Captain on Warg and 18 Warg Riders, give or take the points limit of the tournament. The boys will be used in. This is a purely fluffy army and will be representing the downtime Gothmog has in between battles, where he enjoys a tad bit of pillage and shorter. I would love to gain your guys' opinions on the force. I may see you at a future tournament. James, come and do it. Come and do it. Stockport. Let's get it done. End of April. We would love to see you there. Of course, there are other tournaments available, but of course I'm going to plug our one. Of course I have. There are lots of Great British Hobbit League tournaments, but ours is at the end of April. What do I think about it in terms of a competitive way? Well, it's not particularly competitive, to be honest, but if you're taking it for fluff, then you shouldn't really be too bothered about whether it is effective or not. Orc Captain on a Warg isn't going to be great. Each warband maybe with 9 Warg Riders, 9 or 10 Warg Riders. Gothmog is good, but he's not going to be able to cut it on his own. You're going to die reasonably quickly. So sorry about that. It's not great, but it's fluffy, and there's a lot that can be said for taking fluffy armies. Okay, so next up we got Warlord. Question from America: what is more watched on GBHL YouTube channel? Shows like the Palantir and Speak Friend Question, or battle reports? Thanks, from Warlord. Well, by far, because of the rewatchability of them, the battle reports are the most watched videos. Especially because when people come find the channel, I'm guessing most people find it through watching battle reports first and foremost. So the most watched is the Beginner's Bat Rep, which is obviously a guide on how to play strategy battle game. And then it's mostly battle reports. Then I have to say some of the Let's Try things. So when we did like X-Wing week, a couple of the X-Wing videos get quite good views. Let's give you a bit of an average. So a battle report will tend to get up towards 1,000 views reasonably quickly. Speak Friend and Question Palantir will tend to get around 400 views reasonably quickly, and then maybe go up to being somewhere sort of 600 to 700. Whereas a battle report will reasonably quickly get up to 1,000, and then will continue to accumulate up into thousands and thousands. So we got battle reports on multiple thousands at the moment. Interestingly, things like the Army Showcase videos have been very popular recently. The hobby vlogs are good for us when we're all doing hobby vlogs, because each of those videos tends to get sort of between 300 and 500 reasonably quickly views. But yeah, Palantir and Speak Friend and Question are sort of solid talk shows. They'll get about half as many immediately, and then of course they're not as watched over a period of time. But thanks very much for question, and yes, let's see you at a future tournament, maybe flying over from America. Next up we've got Dan Huckvale. He's put, hey guys, what are your plans for the coverage of Desolation of Stockport? I enjoy all the player interviews and seeing everyone's armies, but with the ever increasing turnout, is this going to be harder to do? I'm attending Desolation of Stockport. That is great news. Look forward to seeing you there, pal. So hopefully, have you paid? If you paid, great stuff. If you've not, get on it. I'll get a chance to see as much as possible, but it's always good to go back and have another look at the event after. Well, what we will tend to do is go and interview people who haven't been filmed before. Like, although it's great when we've got a community, it's very important that it doesn't just become about a set group of people, and that cliques don't develop. There's nothing worse for putting off people than a clique and politics. It's something that would quite easily put me off the hobby massively, or being part of the community. Politics and backbiting and cliques. So with that in mind, it's very important that we show a nice wide variety, so it's not like the same players. Of course, when people bring particularly stunning armies, then we'll try and get it. So more often than not, we will try and film people who are new in the community, show off new armies. Interestingly, there was no coverage from the league final. I was expecting there to be a league final tournament review from Tom Harrison and Damien O'Byrne, but they didn't do that, which is a shame. Because of course I ran that event, so I was very busy, so I couldn't do I couldn't do too much footage really. And of course Damien was focusing on winning it, which unfortunately he didn't. So there wasn't any footage from that, but because me and Jamie are doing this next one, then we should certainly be able to get a ton of content. Me, Tom, Damien, Jamie, we're all there, so there's no reason why we can't get a ton of content. Lots of people like those videos as well. Thank you very much, Dan, and look forward to seeing you at Desolation of Stockport. Next up we got Rainier Lee. Hey again from El Paso, Texas. I've started to get some of my friends into the game and they love it. Well, no surprises there, but well done for spreading the word. We're playing around with army building. I wanted to know what you guys would suggest in a 650 points Galadriel army, preferably consisting of an Ent or a couple of Eagles. Okay, so like a 500 to 550 point Galadriel army then. You want to go for, so it's Galadriel, you want pure Galadriel, you want Rumil, you want Galadriel, a Stormcaller, and then just normal Galadriel troops, you know, maybe some guards of the Galadriel court for the fight 6 dotted around. They've got the pikes so they can support, and yeah, front rank with shields, and try and get some elven blades and stuff like that in there. That's probably a good start for you, so good luck. Thanks very much for your question. Next up we got Lonely Cube. Thanks for the answers, Jamie. Here's my question for this week, hopefully for both of you. Have either of you ever made an army entirely of monsters, not including Raves and Felbeast, or Smaug, or ever seen an army made entirely of monsters? I get the impression that people throw them into evil armies occasionally, but I've never heard of someone building an entire army around just monsters. Is it possible to make an army like this viable, or would the numbers just be too low? No, it's perfectly viable. I've seen people take a dragon, or take 2 dragons, or take a couple of cave drakes, or take Watcher of the Water, or Watcher of the Water and a dragon. I've seen people take all cave troll armies, or Mordor trolls and Mordor troll chieftains. In fact, there's a couple of battle reports where we've got those kind of monster armies, and of course there are good monster armies as well. So I've seen all Ent armies, all Eagle armies. So there are quite a few. There are quite a few all monster armies. Some of them have done okay. Obviously depends who the players are and what the build is, but yeah, some people have done okay with them, and they can be viable. But you've just got to be really smart when you're using small number of models like that. And you put, also Shailene Hardy. If you read this, or if James and Jamie do next week, I'm also in Alberta, Calgary specifically. If you're in Calgary or nearby, I'd meet you at a gaming store somewhere in town for a game if you're interested. You said you're looking for people your age to play with. I'm probably a couple of years older than you. Well, there you go, Shailene. You've got someone there who you can meet with in a gaming store. So maybe get in touch with Lonely Cube 1. Sounds like he's local. Next up we've got George Harold. A rules question. What would you think about removing the -1 accuracy penalty for moving and shooting instead of replacing it with a -1 accuracy penalty for targets over 12 inches away? I think it would be more realistic and make it easier in big games, as you wouldn't have to keep track of which models had moved before shooting. Sounds good? Yeah? Yeah, could certainly do that. But the -1 for moving and shooting is good because it limits the effectiveness of move and shoot armies, because there are some armies that will exploit moving and shooting massively, even from 12 inches away. Like, you know, I'd be quite happy to get within 12 inches and be able to move. I'd always stay within 12 inches of shooting you with my Rohan. If I'm always hitting on a 4+ with my Rides of Rohan and Westfold Red Shields, then winner. So it's to prevent that. You know, it also prevents, you know, like your Wood Elf armies from shoot, move back, shoot, from doing that as effectively. So there it is there for a reason. Next up we've got Sackbot10. Hi guys, this week my question is, if you had to live with someone from Middle-earth for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? On my own? Or am I with Jane? Because that's a that's a trick question, isn't it? Well, let's assume, of course, I'm getting married, so I don't need a female Middle-earth character in my life, and they were going to live with me, like a roommate, a housemate. Who would I have? Well, I don't like sharing food and stuff, so I wouldn't have anybody who like eats lots. So I'd be very dwarves are very messy, you know, and eat a lot. Hobbits eat a lot. I wouldn't be very keen on them eating a lot of my food. You know what I mean? That's a really good and tough question. I have to live with someone. Someone singing all the time gets on my nerves. You know what I mean? I think having Gandalf around would be pretty cool. I think Gandalf would be like having your granddad, you know what I mean? Except a granddad who can do amazing spells and knows everything. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Gandalf. Okay, so next up we've got Al Wood. And he's put, watching you two do speak friend questions separately was so much fun. You really have got different ways to responding to questions. Yes, we do. But I think I have to give the you demand to Jamie, as his speak friend question just had me chuckling whilst trying to paint. He would get a lengthy question with alternative answers and go, I agree, next question. That's a very Jamie thing to do. In fact, again, it's one of the reasons why we balance each other quite well when we're in a video, because I will ramble on about things, which... What is that noise? Can you hear that? I have no idea what that is. So I've got like a thing of rambling on or losing attention like that, for example. You know, and Jamie can be a little bit more sort of to the point and stuff. But sometimes it's good to have me there to help Jamie kind of elaborate and everything. And sort of lead him into longer, sort of more in-depth answers, or to see it from a beginner's point of view or from someone who doesn't know as much point of view. So we work well together. He put, I hope, James, that the stag night went well without any injuries and no visits to the local hospital. Well, it did go very well. However, there was a visit to the local hospital. So it's very important to me that my granddad came on my stag do. Now, he is in his late 70s. He's a great guy, really good guy, and it was, like I say, very important that he could make it. Now, he is a type 2 diabetic, and he's managed it very well for years. He's incredibly organised and has had no problems. On the Friday evening we arrived, and a lot of Jane's family, so a lot of her male side of her family, were already out on a night out. And some of the older uncles, they were like, oh, we're getting back, because they were absolutely smashed. And they asked my granddad if he wanted to go back to the apartments with them, and he was like, no, I'm coming to the nightclub. So he came to the nightclub, he was there, he stayed up with us really late, he slept in massively in the morning, he had a little bit of a breakfast, then we were out all day, and his routine was just well out of whack. And some of us went to go and play in an absolute storm right by the sea, went to go and play five-a-side, like open air, just to break up the drinking during the day, and we had a great time. When we got back, my granddad still hadn't eaten anything, but he'd gone back to the apartment to shoot up his insulin and everything, and had like a bag of crisps to see him on, and then left it too long until he was eating. So he had a hypoglycemic attack in a McDonald's in Galway, which I don't know if you've seen anybody have a hypoglycemic attack, but it is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So he was not conscious of what was going on. He was really out of it. His blood sugars went down to 1.1, which is very dangerous. The McDonald's was useless, by the way. They didn't do anything. Now, my stag party had decided to dress me in a jailbird outfit, and if you had me on Facebook, then you will have seen this. I didn't mind wearing it at all. I have to say, I see these things as an opportunity. But I was running around Galway trying to get an ambulance for my granddad, and we did end up in A&E for some of Saturday night. But it was amazing how quickly he came round once the ambulance got there, and they obviously started getting his blood sugar levels up. And they managed to get a cannula in his arm and start pumping it through. And his first waking memory from the ambulance was seeing me, because the police took me to the hospital, was seeing me outside the ambulance in my little skirt and dress and all that kind of stuff. So that was quite funny. But apart from that, everything else was great, absolutely great. My granddad was absolutely fine, was out of hospital early in the morning. And it was just because he'd shot up too soon before eating. So, but yeah, really good time. We had a really good time. You put, I have a rules question. Control zones. If a figure is moved back into a control zone after the result of a duel, or if an enemy figure moved to within an inch but not into contact, what must the figure in a control zone do next turn? I have to confess that I've watched all the SBG battle reports, but I can't get my head around this, as figures seem to get moved at times with no real thought to being in a control zone. Sorry. If you start in a control zone, then you ignore the control zone. So if you back away and you end up in a control zone, but you can still back away your full inch, then in the next turn you ignore each other's control zone unless you charge each other. So there you go, there's your answer. Okay, next up we've got Wayne Kingfisherman. Out of Yazneg, Fimbul and Narzug, who is the best hunter or captain? Also, I hope you enjoyed your stag do, James. Yes, it's very enjoyable. Thank you very much. Out of Yazneg, Fimble and Narzuk. Fimble is really good. He's got that rule, hasn't he, where he can charge through woods and stuff. So I'm a big fan of Fimble. Yazneg's got a cool rule with Azog and things, hasn't he? But Fimble, I think, is the best Hunter Orc captain. Next up, we got Kurt Leach. Hey guys, how does it feel to be nearly at 3,000 subscribers? It's amazing, isn't it? Who has been here from the start? Comment below, let us know. Have you been here from the beginning? You put, we haven't had a scouring of YouTube in a while. Any ideas who you could scour? I was thinking of going onto the Games Workshop YouTube channel and scouring their Hobbit videos. Go and do it. I think that Games Workshop have comments disabled on their YouTube. I can check that. Let's have a little look. youtube.com Games Workshop Hobbit. Ha! Do you know, it's dead funny that we come up first. Okay, let's have a little look. So, the Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug Warhammer video. Yep. So unfortunately, you cannot scour Warhammer TV as they have comments disabled, and this is to protect them from negative comments, because there can be a lot of negativity about Games Workshop. So unfortunately, you cannot scour there. But I agree, we've not had a scouring for a long time. So let's have some suggestions, and let's have a really good suggestion that will encourage people from other YouTube channels to come to us. In fact, that is this week's The Scouring of YouTube. Now, many of you might be watching this video thinking, what the hell is that? What is the scouring of YouTube? I hear you say, if you are very recent to Speak Friend Question. Well, we've not done it for a while. It was a feature where we would pick a YouTube channel and we would spam them. Sorry, we would not spam them. We would get all of our subscribers, our loyal first stagers, to go and comment on the video and direct people to our channel. This week's scouring of YouTube is a fire at will. That's poor will is the old joke, isn't it? A fire at will Speak Friend Question. Fire at will scouring of YouTube. So what I want you all to do is you all, individually, all 500 plus of you that watch this, are going to get on a YouTube channel that you like, or is to do with The Hobbit or something, and you're going to put a link in the comment section to the GBHL podcast YouTube channel. Make sure that you put some writing in there as well, so it doesn't look like it's horrible spam, and encourage people to come to us. And then let us know in your next question who you scoured. That will be this week's The Scouring of YouTube. There you go, guys. The scouring is back. Thank you very much, Kurt Leach. Next up, we've got Hal Torian. He's put, hey GBHLers, long time no question. This week, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on what Lord of the Rings would be like if all the orcs, dwarves, elves, etc. are all like just different groups of men. Sort of Games of Thrones-ish, mainly manish fantasy. Maybe still with the wizards and magical stuff. Thanks for all the content. Keep up the good work. Well, I think it would feel more historical and less fantastical, but ultimately the story is a damn good story. However, there's a lot that can be said for using fantasy fiction in a way that, I mean, I know that Tolkien doesn't like allegory, and by that I mean like using his writing as a way, you know, like as a hidden way of referencing sort of contemporary events or historical events. But fantasy is a really good way of getting across certain themes, particularly themes to do with life and death, because of, you know, the elves being immortal and things like that. And I think it's a good way of getting those things across. So I think it would be good. I just don't think it would be as good. But ultimately it's a good story. So thank you very much for your question, Hal Torian. Next up, it's Jeremy Smith. How's it going, Jezza? He's put, what's up, GBHLers? Keep up the good work. You're doing your best and all that. No worries, mate. 2 questions. If you have a 750 point hero army and only 5 models, Would you use that last 5 points on a single model, maybe a Morio Goblin with bow or Hobbit Archer? How can this model count 5 versus 6 work against me in a tournament? Well, your break point is the same, so 2.5 rounded up is 3, so your break point is when you're down to 2 models regardless. So because it doesn't affect your break point, then you could do that if you wanted to, although you are giving a model there that is easier to kill to contribute towards the break point. But then again, no, I mean, you could do it, yeah, there's no reason why not. If it doesn't affect the break point, then yeah, why not? You put James, I hope your big do went as according to plan, or plan B at least. It was amazing, I enjoyed it muchly, and I'm sure you've heard me say that a lot over the last couple of Speak Friendly questions. So, my bonus Speak Friendly question in this. Jamie, if you are here, what are you not doing that you should be doing, and according to whom? James, FU equals follow up, as in, follow up, as in follow up question. Just keeping the single solo minibus strip of a loop alive. First Agent Smith signing off. PS, can a mini who failed a courage test shoot since he has not moved? No, I think that it says that they can no longer do anything else that turn, I think, but that should say it in the rule book. It's clear, it's not one of those unclear things. Next up we got Chris Lee. He's put, your predictions were correct. The troll in my 300 point list was killed, and from then I was crushed. We're always right. Sometimes. Anyways, my question this week is, what are your thoughts on the old Lord of the Rings models returning? Sure, the chances are low, but the license extension, what could this mean for us? Haven't checked the new Speak Friendly question by Jamie this time, due to time. Make sure you go and watch that. I think this is similar to your last question. I've got no idea whether that is true or not, so, you know, I can't answer. Thanks very much, Chris. Anyway, next up we've got Matt Patterson. He's put, hi guys, this week my question is regarding goblins. I was playing a Helm's Deep scenario with a friend, and we had included goblins. We know goblins don't need a climb test, but how does it work if there are good models defending the wall and the goblins are trying to get up? We're unsure if the barrier rules came into effect or not. Thanks. I think they do. Bear with me, because the rulebook is just down here. And in terms of goblins not having to climb, not having to take climb tests, is that for everything? Where's my Morio and Angmar? Sorry, 2 seconds. Here we go. No, that's 3 people's. Okay, my Morio and Angmar appears to have taken a walkies, unfortunately. But in the special rules, I'm sure that it says something in here, special rules. And also assaulting the fortress, maybe there'll be something in there. Let's have a little look here. Let's see what it says. Fighting up ladders. Okay, so I'm guessing it might work the same as fighting up a ladder. A model may charge up a ladder against a defender on a wall, in which case the fight will be resolved in the same manner as fighting across a barrier. The model on the ladder, so assume if you're doing siege rules, then something climbing up a wall, I would say, is assumed to be going up a ladder. Roll a d6 on a 1 to 3, the model falls to the ground, takes falling damage the usual way. Furthermore, if the fighter falls, rolls a d6 for each model below him on the ladder. On a 1 to 3, they also fall. So if there's other guys underneath. I would have to see the... here we go, special rules. I'd have to see the Goblin rules, because I don't have my Morio and Angmar handy. but I would have to see those first, I think, to see if they don't need a climb test. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Okay, so next up we've got Avatar of Odin. He's put, as I'm a terribly slow painter and enjoy spending the extra time on character models, I was thinking of building a white council force, but found it very difficult to make a list. Thematically, the only confirmed members are Saruman, Gandalf, Galadriel, Elrond and Círdan, accompanied by other lords of the Eldar, likely including Celeborn and Glorfindel. From a competitive point of view, who would you include in, say, a 700 point list? Seeing how not all members can be mounted, would you still get horses for the remainder? Depending on how the points work out, would you get Lindir in there to make Elrond more powerful? Looking forward to your ideas. Edit. Oh, and Alfred cannot be proxied as being another Lord of the Eldar. Well, I wouldn't recommend that anyway. Well, Glorfindel is a bit of a must. I mean, the new White Council stuff is really good. I mean, I would say Saruman, Galadriel, Elrond could be really good. Glorfindel is a bit of an include, but I don't think he's in the new White Council. So, I mean, 700 points, you've not got a lot to play with. In 700 points, you might get, what, 3, 4 maximum of those in 700 points. If you had a new White Council, Saruman and Galadriel are pretty beasty. So yeah, but Glorfindel was pretty much an auto include in the old one. So yeah, well, I'm not too sure really, not without having the two different books in front of me. But we can do that at some point. We'll do a couple of White Council videos for sure. Okay, so next up we got Wang11. He's put, hi, thank you for answering my question last week. My question this week is, do you think Games Workshop will release old Lord of the Rings models that have gone out of production? Thanks. Probably not, I'm afraid. I don't think they will. I think that when these things come back on the website that haven't been on there for a while, I think it's mainly because they've sort of found a box in the warehouse or something like that maybe, but not because they're remaking anything. So next up we've got David Whittaker. He's put, loving the double, possibly triple if James does part 2, Bill, of Speak Friend and Question. Yes, you've got 3 Speak Friend and Question videos this last week. Well, 4, including this one, 5 if Jamie does another one, so lots of Speak Friend and Question. Jamie, you get bonus points for looking Koch as out in your dressing gown, but where was your brew? Also, thanks for putting up with the long-winded Middle-earth zombie apocalypse question. The idea was to spark some discussion between you both, but some satisfactory answers nonetheless. Tom Bombadil solves everything, and after the Barrow Downs, we know he can handle the undead. Yep, certainly can. I was in a rush when I was answering that question. I think it was like the last question I answered, or second to last question. But you're right, Tom Bombadil. That's a good call. This week's question, if you could see a crossover between Middle-earth and any other fictional universe, Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, etc., which would it be? Also, I would vote Bozza to be played by Nick Cage. His death scene would be hilarious. No. Boromir, Sean Bean, what a winner. Another fictional universe as a crossover with Middle-earth. Well, I like the fact that Middle-earth is very sort of, you know, authentic and historical in some ways. I like Skyrim. I really do like Skyrim. I like the Elder Scrolls and some of the fluff and detail and that stuff is pretty good. So yeah, maybe Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. Okay, next up we've got Will Wright. But hey guys, hope James had an amazing time in his stag do. I certainly did. Galway is amazing. Go to Galway if you get a chance. It was great seeing 2 Speak Friend and Questions. Got 3. My question for this week is, I'm putting together an Angmar army. Can I proxy Warriors of the Dead as Dead Marsh Spectres in tournaments? Or do I need to buy the actual Dead Marsh Spectre models? Either way, it's not a problem. Until next week. I would recommend for most tournaments that you buy the actual models since they are still available. If they are still available, then always get the models. Some tournament organisers might be okay with that, but I suggest that you contact them in advance, because if you weren't making an effort to do some kind of conversion with your Warriors of the Dead to make them look like Dead Marsh Spectres, in some way, which I think would be quite hard because they're Warriors of the Dead, then the problem is it could become confusing to your opponent. You know, they see Warriors of the Dead, they think Warriors of the Dead, when actually they're Deadmar Spectres. So I would say if the model's available, then you should go and get it, unless there's a cool conversion. Next up, we've got Lord of the Brown Ring. He's put, hey GBHL James, thanks a lot for the shout out, absolute pleasure. He's put, when I was, say, around 12, 14 years old, I started this hobby and I was an abysmal painter. I painted up a model which I thought was nice, with techniques attempted to shade, dry brush, etc. I ended up painting a model with a ring on its finger. Frodo from the Fellowship, to be precise. I tried to use browns and bronzes, etc. That I was suggested. Unfortunately, it came out very brown and not so shiny. My friends poked fun at me whenever we played about the said model, hence the name, the Lord of the Brown Ring. Thanks though for jumping to conclusions and specifically taking time out of a rush video to insult a loyal viewer, an advocate and a first aid subscriber instead of talking Hobbit SBG with me. What are you talking about? I guess I'm out of the loop. Have a great day. Lord of the Brown Ring, explain yourself. I have no idea what you are talking about. I don't even think in my first Speak Friend in question, which you are commenting on, that I even got to your question. So, no idea. Maybe check out the... There's no way you could have put this comment before I put up the part 2. So if I've offended you somehow, I'm really sorry. Maybe it was a throwaway joke about your Lord of the Brown Ring name. But I'm pretty sure that you can understand that I'm not psychic and I would not be able to tell the story of your Lord of the Brown Ring name. So, apologies. Next up, we've got J22. Hey guys, firstly, James, I hope you had a lovely stag do last weekend. It was amazing. And thank you very much, everybody, for asking. It's very nice to be cared about. Very much appreciated. My question for this week is a simple one. Do you guys tend to see big creatures like cave drake, balrog, or watcher in the water at tournaments? Some, not loads. Every tournament you might see 1 or 2 of these things, but not a lot. Or are they simply not competitive enough? It's that they're not competitive at certain scenarios. So that's the key thing. Also, what are your opinions on the Watcher in the Water? I think it's a cool model, both look-wise and some of its rules. What do you think? Very good. And Owen Wright has done very, very well with the Watcher in the Water before. So, and he's a good player. So I think at Throne of Skulls he came second in his category, and he had Watcher and a Dragon, I think. As always, keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Jay. Next up, we've got Jason Province. Hi guys, good stuff as always. I was surprised to see 2 Speak Friend questions, but loved it. Good stuff. Don't hate on the Romies, Jamie. I like elves too. Oh, what did Jamie say about the Romies? With his pointy earies, huh? With his elves. Or his goblins with shade. Question for this week is, if you could have a team match 2v2, what other army would you choose to support your army with? The only stipulation that cannot be the same army as you're using. So if you have dwarves supporting your army, can't also be dwarves. Rivendell Knights would support my Rohan army. Definitely Rivendell Knights. If not, then it would have to be something else that was quite shooty. So maybe Grey Company or elves of some kind. That's probably what I would go for. Next up, we have Dynasty. He's put another Star Wars one. What would you make Jabba the Hutt's stats? He would be Fight 3 or Fight 4, like a Goblin. He would have a 6+ shoot value. He would have Strength 4 or 5. He would be Defense 6. He would be 2 attacks, 2 or 3 attacks. 2 attacks, 3 wounds. Courage 6. He would have 3 might, 6 will, 2 fate, and he would have a blubbery mass save on a 2+. There we go. And he would get a 3 point of will every turn, but he wouldn't have any spells. So all just for resisting those Jedi mind tricks. Thanks very much, Dennis D. Next up we've got Christian Syrup Jensen. He's like, hey guys, hope all is well. Did you have a great stag night, James? Yes, I certainly did. Friday, Saturday and Sunday was amazing. It was a little bit of a shame that the England rugby team did not turn up versus Ireland on the next day, on the Sunday, because we were watching it in an Irish pub, obviously. But the Irish were great, fantastic banter, and as they would say, a good crack, so really enjoyed it. So the current score in Middle Earth Madness is currently 2-1 to James. Is that because I didn't get round to your question? I'm pretty sure I got the question right. So let's get on with the fourth round. What is the name of Éamon's sword? Éamon's sword is Guthwine. Guthwine? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. So hopefully I've got more points there. You put, as always, thanks for the great content. And thank you very much for more quiz questions, keeping us on our toes. Next up we've got William Farquhar on this, but hope I didn't miss the Speak Friend and Question deadline again. No, I'm filming this on Saturday evening before Jane gets back, because I don't think I'll do it tomorrow. Chill out tomorrow. Not been well this week. Today's my first day back in work. I've had a few days off because I've been full of lurgy. Not recovering from the stag do, lots of people have been suggesting. I forgot to post in time last week and then was gutted when I realised. Being out of the loop was a horrible experience and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Do you know what? We should send you around to do motivational talks to people who consider escaping the loop once in it, and you can stand up in front of audiences of people and say, I can remember the once I left the loop, and you can tell them what a terrible experience it was and put them off doing the same thing. I think that's definitely what you should do. You put, I shattered Gandalf's staff with my Gundabad Shaman a while ago. Was this legit? I believe so. We weren't sure at the time, but decided that his staff would be shattered, as it says that the magical power shatters all of the weapons on the model. And as you can special strike with a staff, it must count as a weapon. I would agree with that. And second question to make up for last week. Sorry, Jamie. What is your favourite unnamed hero model? Not profile, stats. I believe I answered that in my bonus Speak Friend and Question, so go and check out that video. So we've got two more here, and wow, nearly under an hour, so record time for me on my own. Of course, without me having to disappear off and do a stag do. Mason O'Neill's got, hey there, question for both of you. What scene sends the most chills down your spine in any Lord of the Rings film? Not allowed to say the Charges of the Rohirrim, that's cheating. Well, mine is the Charges of the Rohirrim. What sends a chill down my spine? You Shall Not Pass is pretty epic, isn't it? Boromir dying in Fellowship is pretty epic. The bit where Theoden and Aragorn ride out from the Hornburg together when they strap up, let's ride out together, that's pretty epic. So yeah, there's quite a few. That bit where Frodo is hanging over the edge right at the end of the movie and Sam grabs his hand and he says, "Don't you let go." That's pretty epic. So yeah, lots of them. You put, yours is when the Gandalf and Balrog are free falling down the chasm together, and then it opens up into that wide shot of the lake and the epic music is playing. It gets me every time. Yeah, that's really cool. I agree. And the final question for this week. He put, hi, I've got two questions. First, have you ever played The War of the Ring? What are your thoughts? I believe that we've answered this question. And we do have a Speak Friend and Question FAQ where we talk in depth about why we don't play War of the Ring. And you put, secondly, what do you think about using a big Mirkwood army, including Galadriel or Wood Elves with the new Mirkwood? Thanks and keep up the great work. Well, again, I think that's a question that I've answered recently. I think that the new Mirkwood is pretty competitive. I think Galadriel are reasonably competitive. So, some good heroes in there and some solid troops. And with that brings me to the end of my Speak Friend and Question for this week. Speak Friend and Question number 63. So fingers crossed that Jamie and I get together, not just for Speak Friend and Question, but to film some more content. This following week I should have uploaded our Moria and Angmar week content, so expect that next week. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. As always, make sure that you don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your Hobbit hobby. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Make sure that you do your scouring task for this week, guys. That's very important. And as always, happy strategy battle gaming.